everyone. We've been talking about heroes of the Bible who were given great superpowers by God. What if God told you that you could have anything you wanted and pick anything and he would grant it to you? Well, maybe you would pick a cool toy or a bike or a puppy, or maybe a superpower like flying or super speed, or maybe gold or money. Well, today, we're going to learn about a man named Solomon who was given that exact opportunity. I wonder what Solomon chose. Let's find out. David was the king of Israel, but he was getting old. God had promised David that the king would always be someone from David's family. So David began preparing his son Solomon to become king when he died. He told Solomon some advice. He said, "Solomon, you must be strong and brave and obey God always." He told Solomon about God's plan and promise for Israel's king to come from David's family. So Solomon did become king when his father died. And one night, God spoke to him in a dream and said, "Solomon, ask me for anything you would like, and I will give it to you." Solomon thought. There were so many things he could ask for, so many things he could have chosen. But Solomon knew that above all else, he wanted to be a good king. He knew that he needed God's help to do it. So the next day, Solomon prayed that God would help him learn to be a great king. He didn't know much about being a king. He wanted to know the difference between right and wrong, and how to lead God's people well. God was pleased with Solomon's request. He made Solomon the wisest man that ever lived, and many people would later come to King Solomon for help and advice. Since God was so happy that Solomon had asked for wisdom, he also blessed Solomon with many other things that he didn't ask for. God blessed Solomon with long life, riches, and honor. When Solomon woke up, he praised God and worshiped him for these blessings. Solomon was a wise king who did many great things for God and wanted to follow God's plan. But God had an even greater plan to give his people an even more powerful king, his son, Jesus. Jesus not only trusted God completely with his life, but he gave up his own life to save us all from our own sin. What an amazing superpower. Did you know that God can give you wisdom too? All you have to do is read his word and ask him. Let's follow along with the kids in this next song to learn about wisdom.
One star night, King Solomon had a dream. God said that he could have anything he pleased. Emeralds, rubies, diamonds, as far as he could see. But he only needed just one thing. God will give us wisdom. That is what we need. Help for every problem. Strength for you and me.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed that song about Solomon and his wisdom. Solomon chose wisdom when God gave him a choice to choose anything he wanted for God to bless him with. I don't know. If I had the choice, I think at the time I would have chosen money or gold. But like we learned in Solomon's story and also in Proverbs 16:16, wisdom is better than gold. So we're going to get started with our craft portion of today's lesson, and we are going to make a pot of gold. On top of our pot, it'll say Proverbs 16:16, wisdom is better than gold. So we can always remember Solomon's great choice of choosing wisdom rather than any other thing he could have had. The supplies you will need for this craft is glue. You can choose any sort of glue. Of course, I have my favorite glue here, Fabri-Tac, or as I call it in class with my students, super sticky glue. You also will need some crayons and scissors. And then you can also have some glitter handy if you choose. I wish I had gold glitter for this, but I couldn't find any, so silver will have to do. And importantly, you're going to need a piece of yellow paper and this printout here that says Proverbs 16:16, wisdom is better than gold. And you can find this on our Facebook, and we will make the link available to you online so that you can ask a grown-up to help you print it out yourself, and then you can get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is get our yellow piece of paper. You're going to need to find something circular. I was thinking of using a quarter, but it wasn't quite as big as I wanted it. So I found this little container of blueberry bubbles, and it's just the right size of circle that I wanted for my pieces of gold. So you're going to need to take a crayon out of your box. Doesn't matter what color. I'm going to choose black just because it's easy to see when I'm cutting it. And you're going to place your circular item on the paper and trace around it. Make a nice circle. If you can't find anything circular, you could always just draw your circle freehand, but it's easier to do it with something traceable. Now, here's a really cool trick. Fold your paper a few times, and then you won't have to cut so many circles. I folded mine 1, 2 times, and that will make 1, 2, 3, 4 cuts. If you fold it too much, it'll be too stiff to cut. So you don't want to fold it too much, but folding it a couple times helps you to not have to cut out so many circles. 1 cut makes 4 circles. So you're going to need to do this a few times because we want to fill up our pot. So you can kind of see how it's going to look. You just kind of lay it out here. And then trace another circle. You can see my circle didn't end up perfectly because I moved my bottle of bubbles while I was tracing, so you have to be careful with that. Now, a trick that I always tell my students is keep your scissors straight ahead, turn your paper around instead. That way you can stay on the line easier. So again, I made another cut, and I've got 4 more pieces of gold. I think that's all I'll do. You can always make more out of your scraps if you choose to. So I'm going to set that stuff aside. Dump off my gold for now. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out my pot. And again, it says Proverbs 16:16, wisdom is better than gold. Which is saying a lot because gold is pretty valuable. If if I had a bunch of gold or money, I could buy all kinds of things. But just as we learned in our story today, Solomon was wise enough at the time to ask for more wisdom so that he could become a great king and fulfill God's plan. Since God was so pleased with Solomon's choice, he ended up blessing him even more than Solomon asked. And he got riches and honor anyways. Also, he got long life. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get rid of those scraps. We don't need that part. So here we have our pot and our pieces of gold that we cut out. Now, with this pot, you can color it any color you want, or you can leave it white. I'm gonna go ahead and color mine gray. I was thinking of doing black, kind of like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but then I wouldn't be able to see the words very well, so I think I'm gonna go with gray. You can actually color it before or after you cut it. It doesn't really matter. Or, again, you could just leave it white. But I like to make my things colorful. That's up to you. Alright. So once you have colored all of your pot, you'll be ready for your glue. Here we go. Take it down, let gravity do its job, and then give it a little squeeze. And we only want the glue on the top portion of the pot. We don't want to cover our words. And we want to make it look like the gold is coming out of the pot. So too much glue. If you're putting all these together and you see that it's not quite full and you want to cut more circles, you can do that because we have plenty of scraps. Okay, so there we have it, and you can easily leave it just like this, or you can make it a little more decorative with glitter. Again, I wish I was able to find some gold glitter, but I couldn't find any, so I did find some silver glitter, and that will have to do. The bad part is I can't open this very well, so just take the top. Gotta be careful when you're doing that though, because we could make a huge mess. But the best kind of crafts get messy, in my opinion. So now you can decorate it however you want. I'm gonna try and just go a little around the edges. So I gotta be very careful with my glue here. This stuff comes out fast. Get all your glue set. I'm going to use my scraps. You can use any kind of paper you want, but a good thing to do when you're using glitter is to have something underneath to catch all the extra glitter, especially if you do like me and you have to take the whole top off. I do not recommend that. Okay. Slowly pour on your glitter. And now you can kind of shake it from side to side. Make sure it gets on all the glue spots. Tap it down. And now you've caught the majority of your glitter on your scrap paper, and you can just dump it in the trash can. I'm just gonna set mine over here for now. So, make sure we put the cap on that so it doesn't get knocked over. There you have your craft. Pretty easy today. Proverbs 16:16, wisdom is better than gold. As we learned with Solomon, his superpower was wisdom, and he was able to do all kinds of great things for God. But just as we heard in our story, we are going to be learning about the greatest superhero of all in the Bible, and that is Jesus. And you are going to need a very special supply, which is a large t-shirt, preferably a light color so that we can decorate it. We're going to be making something really cool, so you'll want to gather that and join me next Sunday. Thanks for learning about Solomon with me and his superpower of wisdom. Remember, you can have wisdom too. All you have to do is follow God's word and ask him. You can use this craft to retell the story to your friends and family. And again, join me next week for more superheroes. Bye!